Testing 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2.
Probably about 100 years. Feels like it. About
26.
26 years, yeah. Jimmy's originally from Japan. He went straight into the tribute scene over there. I'm from Ireland. I started doing original music in Ireland and went to England and then Europe and then ended up coming over here. And Jim, what were you doing before Zep?
Yeah, I played in various cover and original bands, right after high school, and then got into the tribute scene right around 1998, I think, with the Crosby, Stills and Nash group.
I've been playing a long time. I've done everything from like orchestras to oompa bands, and I came out, and Swan and I were in a band together called Superstars of Rock, and then we just kind of joined up, and Vacancy and Led Zepagain, and that's when I got in.
The band originally started in Ventura, so there's been 3 different configurations. And I was looking for new members at the time, and I was only with Led Zeppelin 2 years. Seen Jim playing at a club that I was actually working at, and I just felt so good. I just knew he was going to be a good Jones. And like Jim said, I was with him in Superstars of Rock, and it just I felt good, compatible with doing Zeppelin. And then I got a hold of another guitar player at the time before we got Jimmy, and that was together for about 10 years. And then the other guitar player left, and we sort of had our eye on this young man here, who is probably what I would say the greatest rendition of Jimmy Page in the world. Yeah, we're definitely a band that likes to work. More than that, not about sitting around. I thought it was funny because I'm all about original music. And I came over from Ireland on a record deal with Capitol Records, which fell apart. And then somebody asked me to join this tribute band thing. And tribute bands were not really well known at the time. It's like 90 or 91, right? The only other ones was Wild Child and Atomic Punk.
Yeah, let's see.
Van Halen.
Yeah. Atomic Punk, Fab 4, I think, might have been in existence then.
And that was it. So the idea of portraying somebody that I listened to, like Zeppelin, I just thought it was funny. But I said, okay. Well, to be honest, he said the money was good. So I said, okay, have a shot at it. But I wasn't nervous about it. I just felt it was challenging to take on a master. And then to really study them, because you subconsciously you know the songs, but when you start listening, really, you don't really know the songs. And I'm sure that was the same for Jimmy and everybody here, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. I was a huge Zeppelin fan in high school. I mean, I remember one year that's all I listened to was Led Zeppelin. That was, I mean, all I listened to. I didn't listen to anybody else for like a solid year. So when Swan came and asked me about doing this, he said, how many songs do you think you could play right out of the box? And I went home, looked at the list, I said, I could play 36 of them all the way through, even though I haven't played them for 20 years, but I was just so familiar with the arrangements and the bass parts, because I basically learned by playing Led Zeppelin stuff, when I was a freshman in high school. So it was a perfect fit for me when he asked. I was thrilled to get the opportunity.
Depending on what audience you're playing to, of course, because there's a lot of hardcore Zeppelin who want to hear the live stuff as well. And then some people want to hear the studio stuff. But back in the day, back in '91, they just want to hear the studio, because that's what they used to. So you had to come out, in my case, I had to hit the same note the plant hit in Kashmir, or they go, yeah, no good, right? Mm-hmm. It was like that. So the pressure there, but the actually getting up and performing and just crafting it, for me personally, it was sort of natural, because I don't know, it just came to me. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, Jimmy came to a show in 2004 at the House of Blues, and stood for the whole 2.5 hours. Came back, went up to the green room, talked to us for about 15 minutes, and took pictures with us. Absolutely loved the show. Said we were so accurate. He was just blown away by that. So a few years later, they were going to have there was a hard rock theme park that was being built in Florida. Or no, it was actually South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, yeah. And
Led Zeppelin, right?
Yeah, so the guy that put this together had to speak to the remaining members of Led Zeppelin at the time and say, we want to use Whole Lotta Love for this roller coaster. Will you give us your blessing on that? And they did give them their consent, and they said, for the groundbreaking ceremony, we would like you guys to come and play. And Jimmy said, no, unfortunately, we're not in a position to do that. And he said, well, do you know somebody that you could recommend? And they said, yes, Led Zepagain. So we went over there and we played the show.
Right. So I mean, we're blessed to have met all the members, and they know who we are, and sort of, feel good about what we do.
Yeah, we pretty much play almost every weekend, during the year. I mean, May was kind of an aberration, because that was the first time we hadn't played for a full month since I've been in the band. So if we do get a weekend off here and there, that's actually that's kind of strange, because we're pretty much booked all the way through, I think, the first week of December.
The funny thing with me is that I find that some fans start calling you by the guy's name, Robert. You're like, hey Robert, what's up? I'm like, I'm not Robert, man. Sometimes I've been in a situation where you're walking on the street and they go, it's Robert Plant. I'm like, I'm not Robert Plant. I'm not Robert. You're like, you're Robert Plant. You're just saying that because that's one. The great thing about Led Zeppelin music, it just, I don't know, I just never get bored with it. I never get bored singing Stairway. And the great thing about them is the catalog was huge. So there's so much to tap into that when Led Zepagain play, we're able to do different songs, different sets, do live stuff. It's always interesting, and always interesting for the fans, because it's it's different every time they come and see it. It's not the same set every night, So, and the music's just amazing. I'm constantly learning all the time. You think you know it, but then after 20 years, and really, he did it like that. Why did I not hear that? So we never get bored, right?
No, not at all.
It all depends where we're playing and what type of audience. Some audiences, depending on the venue, like this venue here today, they're probably more to the hit type of thing. But then you play to some other venues and it's like they're hardcore Zeppelin and they want to hear the 30-minute version of Dazed and Confused, and he plays every single 20 minutes of a bow solo, and they're like, oh man, so we just structure it to.
As far as improvising go, we don't improvise what we would play in the song. We play what they would play in the song. You know what I'm saying? Because if you play what you're playing in the song, then it becomes your interpretation of the song, and you're not a tribute band anymore, you're a cover band. So if we improvise and we listen to what they did when they were improvising and just play that. Yeah, because, I mean, if it was a thing where we wanted to express ourselves, we'd be in an original group. And no reason to play in a tribute band, because people, if we do it, the live version, people know those live versions. They, oh yeah, they did that part there. So we don't veer off and just say, hey, let's completely do our own thing here, because we'd probably get the backlash of the Led Zeppelin faithful if we did that. It's, oh, that wasn't right. What are they doing on that? So,
And Jimmy comes from, his sort of education of Zeppelin, where our education was a lot of studio. His education is more live. He doesn't even care about the studio stuff. I mean, he's probably the only guy I know that listens to Zeppelin every day. I mean, for hours. Every detail, nuance of what they did in a live. It's like listening to jazz music, right? Jazz, they jam a lot, and it's all improvised, and it's on the spur of the moment, and it comes and it's gone, right? Well, that's what happened to Zeppelin. But he actually picks up on all that and stores it in here. I mean, all that little detail stuff. And then he sort of presents it to us, and, because we're all, the guys are really great musicians, and they're able to translate it, What's up? Just continue to come see our shows. Led Zepagain on Facebook and Zepagain.com, and we've got a lot of great shows coming up, and we've got a new record coming up. And thank you so much for all your support. We so appreciate it. Without you guys, it doesn't happen.